2 weeks ago on week 23 on our NHS NeuroHyperSensitivity Workbook section of our Practical Neuroscience Masterclass, we covered bravery. I am brave. What bravery means in the brain in terms of neuroscience. The week after that, week 24, we covered I am courageous, what courage means in the brain and the difference between the two. Bravery and courage are absolutely distinct in terms of neuroscience. Then the arc is completed now on week 25 with I am confident. What confidence means in the brain in terms of neuroscience. And again, there's a huge distinction between all three, and this is an arc, and I have my audits for you in a discount and a bundle. So definitely check that out so you can get the arc of the bravery, courage, and then confidence all in a bundle to see how can you achieve your 2.0 version, because at the end of this video I will explain to you what actually your 2.0 version is. So briefly, bravery is the act through fear. As you fear, you don't wait for the fear to go away. Please watch I Am Brave, the Bravery Masterclass. I will put the link down here. Now, courage is then, after bravery, the habit, the neural habit that you build, the new circuits that you build so that it becomes automatic. But what confidence is after bravery and courage, it's something very interesting because many people get that wrong. And many people think that it is a feeling that you must have in order to feel confident so that you can be brave and then you can be courageous. No, my friend. In fact, neuroscience says the complete opposite is the truth. Are you curious already? So let's dive deeper into it. And before we do, hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. As a neurohypersensitive person myself, I know what it is. I know how it feels. And I'm here for you. We are here as an NHS NeuroHyperSensitivity community. Okay? So let's dive deeper in. Welcome back to my channel. Step inside the lab. Leave the labels behind. Discover the biology of a neurosensitive brain. From the genes to environments, the science is key. Welcome to the truth of neurohypersensitivity, NHS, with Dr. Ayguen Sahin. Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Ayguen Sahin. If you don't know me already, I'm a person with neurohypersensitivity and I describe the neurohypersensitivity NHS. And if you're not sure whether or not you are a neurohypersensitive person, then please go to my website drayguensahin.com/neurohypersensitivity and check out the 5-question NHS quiz so that you can see whether or not it is not a diagnosis, but it is for you to understand whether or not you're a person with neurohypersensitivity, so that you can also be eligible for our NHS NeuroHyperSensitivity community membership, where all the research, all the advocacy, all the awareness, all the education and policy changes happen. Okay, so I hope you can join us. So let's dive in. In this masterclass, we will be covering, in fact, what the brain builds when courage becomes who you are. We will be covering what confidence actually is, the dopamine loop, right? Dopamine system gets activated. We covered this last week when we talked about courage. That activates the dopamine system. But here in confidence, there's a loop, and we'll explain that to you. Then the identity shift. What does it mean? What is the identity shift? We will cover that. And then finally, what blocks your confidence? And we will learn what your 2.0 version actually means in terms of neuroscience. And of course, as you know by now, my program Fearless Achiever 2.0 is exactly what this is all about. And I would like to bring you there. Okay, so let's dive in. Let's start with what confidence actually is. So literally, in terms of neuroscience, confidence is a prediction. Nothing more, nothing less. This is the most accurate neuroscientific definition of confidence. So we learned by now that the prefrontal cortex is constantly getting activated, right? As we do the bravery, as we are being courageous. But that accumulates constantly a prediction for the future as you engage the prefrontal cortex. That's the new circuits that you are developing, which we covered last week, and that is helping the prefrontal cortex to make future predictions. We'll cover this more in the dopamine loop. So what that means is the more you have bravery and courage situations where you acted bravely, where you overcame fear, and where you have been courageous and kept doing the courageousness, then your memory bank gets updated. And the prefrontal cortex, in terms of confidence, takes from that bank, from the memory bank, and keeps updating you. And we will cover this also in the identity shift. So hang tight. So the more you have been engaged in bravery acts and in courageousness, then your memory gets updated and your prefrontal cortex based these predictions on evidence. That's it. We covered this multiple times before, that evidence is needed for the prefrontal cortex. So the evidence creates the prediction, and the prediction is based on evidence you have accumulated, not based on fear. That we already overcame, right? From the amygdala, from the fear system, from the threat system towards the medial prefrontal cortex. So now those, you see now how the accumulation, we talked about this over and over again in all my master classes about the accumulation. I gave you multiple examples as if you are in a retirement account, right? It accumulates, your money accumulates. And this is exactly the same thing in your memory bank. Your memories of bravery and courage overrides the fear memory. In the audit, right, the courage audit, you should have already overrided and see how you overrided the fear system and created a more courageous system that override the threat system or the fear system, the circuits. Basically here also that prefrontal cortex updates based on that evidence you created in the courage when it became habit, or your neural habit. Makes sense? So in other words, when other people tell you, or you tell other people, be confident, overcome this, be confident, and you can do it, be confident. Neurologically, it doesn't mean anything. It's literally meaningless. Why? Because you and only you have access to your memory bank, and your brain, and only your brain, your prefrontal cortex has access to that memory bank. And how you, like investment, what kind of investment do you do? It's up to you what kind of memory bank you fill your bank with. You fill your memory bank with fear-based evidence, or do you fill it with bravery acts and neural habits of courage? That, my friend, is only up to you. Makes sense? Now, this brings me to the dopamine loop. Every single action of bravery, of the courageousness that you did in the last 2 weeks, hopefully you got your audits and you trained yourself, you checked that out. Every single action, your micro habits towards that bravery act or that courageousness helps the brain to release dopamine. This is literally, we are changing the brain chemistry with it. So every action in terms of bravery and courage releases dopamine. And what that dopamine does is two things. First is it encodes that experience as important, as something that's worthy and something that is worth repeating. So that is what the dopamine does in the brain. Number two, it motivates your brain or you to move again towards that direction. That is the satisfaction, right? If you know what dopamine is, like all the addiction is based on dopamine, right? Do more of this, do more of this. I'm satisfied, this is great, this satisfaction was amazing. So this dopamine system is exactly in this courageousness and the bravery act also activated, so that your brain says this was worthy, even with small wins. Let's say, I gave you an example because we are talking about practical neuroscience, right? Like if you couldn't open the email, if you were frozen, if you cannot send that letter, the email to your family members, you couldn't make that call, you're freezing, your legs are shaking. And once you do that, and then you just, whoa, that was, like button, right? That was easy. Remember that button? I have that button actually. A friend of mine, one of my best friends gave it to me as a birthday gift. That was easy button. I had that when I was back in Harvard. So nice. I just remember that. So then your brain overrides and says, here, this was great, this was important, this was worth experiencing, and this was worth moving towards it and do it again. Okay, and this was worth do it again, and this is worth moving into that direction. That exactly, my friend, what the dopamine does in terms of bravery and courage. So the research on agency and dopamine system, Ashby and colleagues showed that agency itself disinhibits the dopamine system. When you believe that your actions have consequences, the dopamine system can be releasing dopamine more freely, and that's what we want. And because of that, our actions are moving more freely, we are getting more motivated, we are getting more excited, our executive functions work more actively, and we are motivated and we are willing to keep acting in that direction. And that is exactly, when you think back, it is literally the neural habit that what it does, right? So that's the loop. So the more you do that act in courage and bravery, as we said, as you do it through fear, then the dopamine gets released, and the dopamine release in turn makes you move more in that direction, and then you become more courageous and do it more and do it again, and that again updates the prefrontal cortex with more positive memories, overcoming fear, and that releases again dopamine, and that it makes you even more so going further into that, and that creates again the habit, the neural habit. So exciting. Do you understand now how that loop works? This is literally the dopamine loop, and this is how you not only create the habit, and then also it creates the identity shift. Now, what is the identity shift then? And here's what separates confidence from courage and bravery. Bravery is the act, what you do. Courage is what you practice. It's the practice, it's the habit. And confidence, my friend, is, you guessed it, is who you are, who you become after you do this. You get that? Because of the help of the dopamine loop. Oh my God. This is so exciting. Hopefully it makes sense to you now. This literally shifts your identity into, I am someone who overcome fear sometimes, and I sometimes open the email, sometimes I freeze, sometimes I do the cold call, sometimes I make that talk with my family members, sometimes not. Instead, you are saying, I am the person who does all of this. I am the person who makes cold calls. I am the person who is doing social networking or business networking. I am the person who is opening the emails. I am the person who sends the letters. You become that person. You become that courageous, that brave person because you do it because of your memory bank, because of your actions. And that, my friend, is literally, voila, your 2.0 version. That, my friend, is what 2.0 version is. And that is exactly what my program, my very first program, the Fearless Achiever 2.0, was all about all along. The empowerment based on be able to do that. And I helped you for the last 3 years on my channel, on my main channel, to help you to become more empowered so that you can act through fear, right? The very first step. Then after you become brave, you would be able to do the courageous actions and become hopefully more habitual because of the dopamine release. And then it turns into a loop, and then you become that person. Then, my friend, you will be in your 2.0 version because you did it, not because somebody on YouTube, a guru, a woo-woo person, a spiritual leader, or whatever leader told you, now you achieved your 2.0 version. That doesn't work that way. It doesn't mean anything neurologically. You and only you can achieve the 2.0 version because you have power over your own brain. It's that simple as that. And if you didn't remember that, always remember the example I gave you in terms of your investment bank account and your own memory bank in your brain. So now, finally, let's talk about then, and I think this is so important to understand, what blocks confidence then? What blocks it? 2 things I need you to know. Number 1 is the blocking might be because you feel like you have to feel confident in order to take action and all of that. Again, please go back and watch I Am Brave. It's a great video, one of my best master classes. And I give you a lot of practical neuroscience examples for day-to-day lives, right? So watch that. It's not about you waiting for you become confident, is as you go through fear. That's bravery, and that sets up the entire arc. And again, as I told you with confidence, the brain cannot update without evidence. And the evidence, the prefrontal cortex looks for evidence, and the evidence comes from the memory bank. And without memory bank to be full of these courageous action, the bravery actions, there is no evidence. As simple as that. So you need to fill your brain with these courageous and bravery actions so that your memory bank is full, so that the prefrontal cortex can drive from, and literally as you take money from the bank, it drives the evidence based on that bank, and you need to fill it. The second problem that blocks your confidence is that most people think that their bank, memory bank, is not as full. And that, my friend, is further from the truth. Why? Because I told you, Every single little action is what updates the brain. So as I said, I gave you literally the last 2 weeks these examples. If you are frozen, and check out, pre-order my procrastination guidebook, very comprehensive. If you freeze, nobody talks about this. This is the only guidebook ever existed, because I have not seen it anywhere. Nobody talks about this type of procrastination, and I know it because I experienced this and I overcame it, and I will tell you how to overcome this in my guidebook. So comprehensive guidebook, pre-order it. I need 4 more people to order it, and then I will release it. Okay, so Amber already got it, so please take the pre-order price already, and after that it will be going into a full price. Okay, so I need 4 more people to pre-order it, and then I will release it. Okay, so it's still currently under the pre-order price. draygenshahin.com/overcome-procrastination. So every little action, like you open the email, oh, was it good? Wasn't so bad. You open that mailbox, okay, it wasn't so bad. There's nothing, it's just a bill, or nothing happened. That's good. Those things that you think is little, that counts, my friend. That counts. Your memory gets activated, and it accumulates in the memory bank as evidence. See, nothing happened. Evidence. See, you talked. You did that tough conversation on Thanksgiving, on the Thanksgiving dinner table. There was no fight. There was no horrible experiences. We just talked. Okay, that was okay. I did it. I'm so proud of myself. That, boom, also updates. Every single action updates. Okay, so that is the second blockage, that people think that you have to climb the mountains, and I am on the top of the mountain, I'm courageous, I'm brave, I'm now so confident to climb the K2. What is important for your life? Only you can tell it. Right, last week I gave the research example with snakes. People who are afraid of snakes, the scientists, they wanted people to bring it more closer and closer and closer to their face. Oh my God, can you believe it? If you are scared of a spider or a cockroach and you killed the cockroach, oh my God, you are such a brave person. You are courageous to kill that cockroach, right? Or that snake. Or you saw in your, I don't know, you live in Florida and you saw a crocodile comes to your porch. I mean, I don't know, you know what I mean? And you were able to cush it, so it went back. Those are absolutely important, courageous and bravery act. And so that, my friend, all are evidence. That's why you audit, right? That's why I want you to have the audits. Download it, immediate download. It's in my bio, and I have the bundle Bravery, Courage, and Confidence arc. It's the arc literally, and you can get this in a discounted price of $24, all 3. And I want you to have it, and please, this literally helps you to get to your 2.0 version. And that again brings me to the assignment, and your core assignment is the confidence audit. Again, I want you to have the bundle. That's what I recommend. But of course, without health, nothing matters. If you are not feeling well, I kept saying that, if you have a migraine, if you have inflammation issues, if you're not sleeping well, if you're itching, if you're bloating, constipation, diarrhea, all of this matters, and all of this is needed to be checked in our key 3 elements that we are looking at in our health regulation audit. That is what I need if you work one-on-one with me. It's also, all of my audits are $9.99. So if you want to work one-on-one with me, I have 3 options. One is the power hour. You and I, we are sitting for 1 hour and I will solve one issue of yours. Then I have 2 programs. One, all of this is related to the scientist's total health transformation protocol. That's a 4-week program, but regardless of that, when we work one-on-one, even if it's 1 hour, then I can create, based on the audits, a personalized protocol for you. That's why I need these audits. And if you want, based on this topic, the 2.0 version, to get to your 2.0 version, then I have the Fearless Achiever 2.0 program, where we work on your confidence and bravery and to get to your 2.0 version in your life, in your work, in your career, in your next chapter, in your relationship, whatever it is where you need to be brave, need to have courage, and to be confident. We will work on this, and that's the Fearless Achiever 2.0. So I hope this was helpful to you. Let me know in the comments. Hit the subscribe button and like button and share this with your friends and family. Let them know, tell them, listen, this is really not what you think it is. Bravery, courage, and confidence, these are completely something else in terms of neuroscience. Send those videos to them. And also, most likely, if you are a person with neurohypersensitivity, most likely you have in your family also 1 or 2 people, either your father's line or your mother's line, person with neurohypersensitivity. So let me know. Hopefully you will join us in our NHS NeuroHyperSensitivity community membership, where I can support you much deeper. So thank you so much. I will see you in the part 2 of our weekly intuitive insights, what's coming up for the week, and also on Sundays, as always, of this chapters, this sessions, relaxed, calming journaling in the workbook, in the NeuroHyperSensitivity NHS Workbook. Get your workbook and catch up with us, work with us together.